So thanks everybody for joining the session today. We're going to be talking about a couple things, but this is all going to be about Community Builder. So how, with custom themes, you can control the entire visualization of your community, some of the best practices around building high-performant communities, and then we're going to wrap up with a little bit around Lightning Bolt. So introduction-wise, David Green, product manager with Community Cloud. But really, this show today is going to be run by some of our phenomenal engineers on the team. So Wayne Lau, who's going to be kicking things off. We've got Sharad, Wave, Hemant, Wave, Nelson, and Mike. So thank you guys for jumping on over today. Always like to start off with just a quick thank you. So thank you guys as partners, as developers of Salesforce. This is really hopefully all about you guys and making you more successful. That's our focus, that's our mission, that's our passion from a product perspective. So taking 2 days off isn't always easy. Traveling to San Francisco and dealing with all of this fun isn't always easy. But thank you for making the time. Hopefully you're going to find the session valuable. So we are going to be talking about some roadmap stuff. So again, if you haven't memorized it by now, you can, good bedtime reading. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to kick off with Wayne, who's going to take us through custom theming. If you guys were at the session yesterday, we did a little bit of a teaser in the demo, but today's really going to be going deep, hands-on, under the covers, showing you guys what it really is to build a custom theme. So with that, turn it over to Wayne.
All right. Thanks so much, David. So my name is Wayne Lau, and for the next 10 minutes, we're going to be talking about theming. So why is theming so important? Theming is important because it allows you to visually control the identity, allows you to deliver a visually unique, engaging, and immersive community experience. And it does this by giving you unparalleled access to the visual structure of your site. So this is the default theme for the customer service template. It's got a fixed header at the top that appears on every page, and below it, you've got the dynamic content area that changes from page to page. And you can always change the colors, the images, the fonts within the Community Builder. But what if you wanted to drastically change the visual look and feel? Well, that's where custom theming comes into play. Let's take a look at an example. This is the Hulu community. It's sporting a beautiful custom theme on top of the same customer service template that you saw earlier. With theming, as you can see, they've established a visually unique and compelling community experience, and that's what theming is all about. So with all that said, let's actually learn how to build a custom theme here. So what are we going to build? We're going to build this, a custom theme for our homepage for our coffee community. And we'll hopefully do it in, sorry, let me zoom out a bit, hopefully do it in less than 8 minutes. It's got nav menu in the top left, user profile menu top right, search in the middle, and then the homepage content, in this case, the feature topics at the bottom. So switch over to the builder here. It's got the default theme applied to the customer service template. So where do we begin? We're going to jump into the developer console. And I will go ahead and create a new Lightning component. Let's call it TDX theme layout. Submit. All right. Can everyone see this? I'll zoom in a little bit. All right. The first thing we need to do is implement an interface called Forest Community Theme Layout. This basically tags this component as a theme layout, and Builder will be able to pick this up. The next thing I want to do is just create a design file quickly and give it a more user-friendly name when it appears in the Builder. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the Builder and reload. One thing I want to call out here is that theme layouts are the real workhorse behind theming. They allow you to designate the parts of the UI that will appear on every page, like the header. They also allow you to designate the dynamic content area that changes from page to page, as I mentioned earlier. So let me jump into Settings, Theme, and then for the home page here, I'm going to switch over to my TDX theme layout that I just created. We don't have to worry about this, just telling us that some regions don't appear yet, or they haven't been defined, which is fine. I'll switch over to the Preview tab here and just reload. And we should see a blank page, and that's because our theme layout is empty. So first thing we want to do is get our dynamic content area to appear. So how do we do that? Let me switch back over here to Sublime. I'm going to start copying and pasting some code, and I'll explain what I'm doing along the way. So I've copied in some basic markups, got a bunch of divs. The thing to really focus on here is this v.body expression. And this basically tells the theme layout where to put that dynamic content area. And so if I go ahead and reload, we should see the home page content appear within the tab right now. There we go. So we've got the home page content coming in. But what about the navigation menu and the user profile menu? How do we get that in? Now, I can always go build my own, but what I'd rather do is reuse what was already there from the default theme. So how do I do that? Well, there's two things you need to do. The first thing is to declare an attribute with a name that matches one of those existing regions from my default theme. In this case, it's navbar and profile menu, respectively. So that's the first thing. The next thing is we need to tell our theme layout where to display this content. So in this case, there's more divs, and I want the navbar content to go here, and I want the profile menu content to go there. I'll hit save, come back to preview and reload, and we should see our homepage content, we should see our nav menu, we should see our user profile menu. It doesn't look that great right now, but we can fix that up with some basic styling. So let me jump into some CSS here and copy in a bunch of CSS. Go ahead and create a style file, paste in all the CSS. That'll hopefully pretty this up a little bit. Reload, and with any luck, we should see the navigation menu and user profile menu more in line, a little nicer. So now, how do we get the background to show up? Well, again, let's switch back. The background's actually a video, so I'm just going to copy this markup in, which is basically a video tag. Paste it in. It references a component attribute that I haven't defined yet. In this case, it's pointing to a static resource, which I've already uploaded into the org. And let me go ahead and paste in some CSS just to fix up this background a little bit so it displays a little more nicely when it appears. Paste it in. There we go. And we should see this background video show up, navigation, profile, and then the homepage content will appear. And obviously, the content's covering our whole background right now, so let's style this up and anchor it towards the bottom. Again, nothing that CSS can't help fix up here. All right, that should take care of it. If I reload, we should be a little closer to what we want. Can hover over it. Perfect. So all we're missing right now is just the search field and the company logo in the middle. So again, let's similar to what we did for the navigation bar. We just need to declare a Aura attribute with the exact same name as the existing region. In this case, it's called search right here. And we need to tell our theme layout where to display it. So I'll copy some markup in. And here, we're displaying the search content with the v.search expression here. And you can see there's an image tag with the company logo here. So let me go ahead and declare that attribute as well. And again, it's just a static resource that points to an asset I've already uploaded. Paste that in. There's the resource. And if I reload, we should see those two things come up. It won't look very good, but again, CSS is our friend here, so we will hopefully, with this styling pass, be able to get it pretty close to what you saw in the screenshot. So I've updated the CSS there. If I jump back to the preview and reload now, there we go. So we've got the theme, the custom theme established now. Let's do one more thing. Wouldn't it be great if we could customize the background image, or use a background image instead of the video? And wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to drop into code to do that? Well, let's actually do that and make it happen. So just requires two things here. I'm going to declare two attributes in my theme layout component. And all it is like, should I use a background image instead of the video? There's a Boolean here. And if so, what is the background image URL? Very straightforward. And I'll copy the markup in that basically says what I just described. Use the image instead of a video if it's defined. It's just an if-else statement here. And the last thing we need to do, and the more important thing to kind of call out here, is that we want to expose this in the builder so that an admin can go and customize it. So I'm going to enter the design file, paste in these two attributes, which are the ones I just declared in the component, use image and background image, save it, come back into the builder, and reload. One thing to call out here is that I've given it more user-friendly names here. It's called use background image and background image, and we should see, hopefully, a checkbox and a input text field when we go to configure it. So I'll come back to settings, theme, click on this little pencil icon here, and there we go. We've got those two attributes exposed into Builder. So I'll go ahead and use a background image, and let me go ahead and copy a URL from Google Images that I just got, paste it in. I'll switch over to the preview tab so you guys can see a little more clearly. And if I reload here, we should hopefully see a different background image. So that's theming in 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Next is performance best practices that Nelson and Sharad are going to cover. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. I'm Nelson Wong, and I'm going to talk a little bit about performance in Lightning communities. So as you have seen in the demo, you can use Lightning components to easily customize your community's look and feel. But one of the most common questions that we have got is that how can you build your components so that they are performant and make your community run fast? So today I'm going to talk about a little bit of the best practices, do's and don'ts when you build Lightning components. So first thing is keep your components as lightweight as possible. So we have seen a lot of examples where components pack in lots of features, like you have 10 features, but each use case only use 1 or 2 of them, using a lot of knobs and switches. So that basically adds a lot of overhead to your pages. So the best thing to do is basically keep your components as lightweight as possible for your use case, not add a lot of different features and have separate components and only include them when needed. So the next thing is very important to set your cache settings for your static resources correctly. So a lot of times components need to include like CSS, JavaScript, images, those kind of static resources to your components. But a lot of times, people forget to set the correct cache settings. So in our static resources, we can allow you to set public caching if the resource is publicly cacheable. So with caching, it helps a lot for customers to load their pages in a performant way. So we can be cached on browser and also CDNs or proxy servers if they are applicable. And next thing, again, is a very common web page best practices for performance. So keep your images at the right sizes. So we recommend basically under 100 KB and ideally under 50 KB. So a lot of times, images come in different sizes and resolutions, but they are not always needed to have that kind of high resolution. So the sizes of images greatly impact the download time of your community page. So keep that in mind. Next thing is if you have distributed users and members across the globe and you want them to be able to load your community quickly, you might want to enable CDN for that. Currently, we have a CDN program in pilot. So if you want to enable that, feel free to contact us. This is a quick, just a quick talk for a few items. But we have our Lightning component best practice guide on our developer website. So here's the link. You can go there and check it out. Or you can Google it by searching for Lightning Performance Best Practices, and you should be able to find it. And talking about don'ts, a lot of web pages use a lot of third-party libraries like jQuery, Bootstrap to design their pages. And nowadays, with the newest and latest DOM APIs and also our component-based Lightning framework, a lot of those APIs are no longer needed. So if you want to include these kind of third-party libraries, definitely think carefully, because loading more libraries definitely will increase the load of your page. Next is when you load components on pages, make sure that only components that are needed when you render the page are loaded, because we have seen like cases where components are just hidden on the page and just sitting there, or components for things like a hidden tab that you don't need until you click on it, or in a dialog, when you click on a button that shows that component, and those also get loaded. The best practices is to don't do that, and basically just load them dynamically, use our APIs when needed. And lastly, one common mistake we have seen is that in Lightning, we have the debug mode to allow you to easily debug Lightning components issues. But a lot of people forget to turn that off when they deploy their website into production. So that greatly increases the resource sizes and would degrade the performance of your page as well. So with all these, we have also built a tool to allow you to analyze and optimize your community pages. And now Shura is going to talk more about that.
Hey guys, hopefully you have this burnt into your memory. If not, we have an easier way of doing things. So let me open one of our communities. And so, similar to the theming demo that you saw earlier, you go in, you really like theming, maybe you get a bit carried away, you put lots of rich images, and now you want to analyze to see, am I following my best practices or not? And so to help you with that, we have the plugin created, which is called the Community Page Optimizer. And once you install it, it's always analyzing any Lightning, any communities page that you may load. So this has gone, looked at your page, and ranked it against some of the best practices. Let's look at the one where you're scoring an F in this particular case. So this was what Nelson was mentioning earlier, that you want to turn your prod debug mode off so that you get better performance. Maybe you have some really slow server-side methods, and so we analyze all the server-side requests which go there, and we give you some recommendations around it. And in the future, we'll also give you some of the timings for the server-side methods. So you can actually see whether your method is network-heavy, is it server-heavy, and things like that. Another cool feature is, so let me pop it out so it's easier for you guys to see it, hopefully, is when you're loading your page, like when you look at this community here, so you have components which are visible, and you have components which come up only when you interact with it. So they're hidden components. And from a user's perspective, you don't want to spend time creating hidden components first, because the user would think, oh, the page is really slow. And so we let you look at how your page loaded. So the green shows you, the progress for your visible components, and the red shows you the progress for hidden components. And so you can see in this case, it's fairly good that you're loading your hidden components after you have significantly loaded something that a user can see. Similarly, it goes through, we have different rules which help you optimize it, things around large images. You can see actually which image it is. And if you see an optimization opportunity, you will see an optimized image right next to this that you can download and then upload into your community. There are other features in here, so you don't need to switch between DevTools and our plugin. You can look at the request going through. You can quickly find something you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for some particular get init data method. We'll help you quickly narrow it down, and you can see the details around it. I don't know how much time you guys have spent trying to debug performance using Chrome DevTools. And usually what you see is huge stacks of anonymous functions or minified functions that you cannot really tell. Is this component A, is it component B, and so on. And so we have an always-on profiler. So you can go in and actually see time spent creating components, where are they being rendered, and things like that. And similarly, we have a lot of other functionality. You could go in and see, your particular component, how expensive it is, and what are my optimization opportunities. So there's a lot of features in here, to show in a demo. But this is available on the Chrome Web Store now. So you could go and search for Page Optimizer or Salesforce Community Page Optimizer, and you can install it, try it out. You can give us feedback within the plugin or from the App Store. And so hopefully you guys will take it for a spin, and it'll be useful for you. All right, so I'm going to transition now over to Lightning Bolt, to Mike and Hemant.
Check. Okay. All right, everybody. So going back a couple demos ago, you guys remember the theming. So suppose you want to take all of that work that you did and wrap it up in a solution that you could just easily export, pick up, put on App Exchange, and then have someone else pick that up, make some more customizations. It's sort of like an infinite reuse cycle. So that's what Lightning Bolt is it gives you a way to take that work, reuse it, and we're going to demo it and how easy it is to use. So here's the nuts and bolts of what a Lightning Bolt solution is. It's the theming and branding, the pages and the components. Go into those at your leisure in detail. But all right, thanks. So we're going to demo how do you export a Lightning Bolt solution. So suppose you're Coca-Cola. Oh.
All right. Thank you, Mike. So let's say I am an ISV and I want to develop a Lightning Bolt solution for my customer. So my customer being here is Coke. And what I want to do is I want to create a Lightning Bolt solution that I can deliver to Coke, and Coke can rebrand it and reuse it for their different product lines like Sprite or Fanta. So you can see I'm in my ISV org right now. And the first step is creating a community. So I come to my setup, I come to my communities, and you can see I have a bunch of communities created here. And we have pre-built one called My Coke. So I'll just open it up. And take some time. OK, let's preview the community. So you can see, taking all the principles of performance and custom theming, we have pre-built this. And you can see I have a lot of functionality here where I can see the product catalog, I can click the topics, I can see the training information, FAQs, etc. So let's say I've built this in my community builder. So the next step is, if you can see, here's a wrench button. So that basically is settings. So I come to the settings, and then I go to developer. And I come to export a solution. So here we have to fill certain information like the name of the Bolt solution, the category for it, like is it sales, is it for service, is it for marketing? And then you upload an image, which is a thumbnail image. Provide some summary, some features, and you click export. So what happens when you click export? It takes all the customizations that I have built in this Lightning Bolt solutions, and it creates a metadata component out of it. So then the next step as an ISV is I have to deliver it to my customer. So I come to my packages, I go to my package manager, and I create a package. So this is a blank package that I've created. As you can see, I have not added anything to it. I come to add, and I search for Lightning Bolt solutions. So you can't see the one that I've already exported because I've used it in an existing package. And here's the package. So I've named it Fanta Field Service. And here you can see I've added the Lightning Bolt solution for Fanta Field Service. And once I add this app, it also pulls in all the components, all the pages, and it basically creates the package out of this. And once I upload the package, I get the installation URL that I can give it to the customer, and they can install it in their org. So once the customer installs it in their org, that's where the magic happens. So let's say they've installed my package now, and they come to their communities, and they want to create a new community now. So I come to new community, I click on new community, and boom, there's my ISV package Bolt solution. So I click here. It's as good as creating an Apply template, but I'm using my ISV template. I say get started, and I give the name, and I'm ready to go. So we've already created the community out of that solution. So as you can see, all the features are there that I created, like the products, the topics, all the information. But as a customer, I customize the look and feel to fit it for Fanta instead of Coke. So that you can see it's so simple. I just install my ISV package, and I customize a bunch of things, and I'm ready to go. I can put this online and give it to my customers. So, yeah.
Switch back to slides, please. Awesome, thanks guys. I know it's a lot to cover in 30 minutes. We're trying to squeeze a lot in, but I know this is being recorded. A couple other sessions worth calling out. Some of these happened yesterday. For the overview, as well as Service Cloud is actually happening in a breakout right now. Later this afternoon, we are doing a deep dive on CMS Connect and audiences. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely go check it out. It's going to be over just around the corner at Lightning Theater. And a couple things on where you can go learn more. We've got the demo booth going. Feel free to stop by. We're always very active up on Success Community, Partner Community. We've got some pieces up on Trailhead. And yeah, with that, thanks again, everybody, for showing up. I know it's, again, quite a bit to crunch in 30 minutes. We always love to stretch the boundaries. And we'll be sticking around for any and all questions afterward. Hopefully, things are going well at Trailhead, and appreciate the time.